The Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. Barakatha Yahweh, 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 Barakatha Yahweh. See, the Lord lets you know what time it is in the battlefield, right? And He's letting all you heathens know what time it is in the battlefield. Why? Because your time is up. You did? So, you want to sit around thinking you're slick. You know, your time is up, devils. You got to go. You got to go. You know? And all you heathen got to go also. So you lying talking about ain't many soldiers been taken down the whole nine? Oh, yeah. But guess what? You see the Hulk? That's right. The Hulk is green. Yahweh Shai. And he's taking you down. And when he get back, he's going to really take you down. That's right. Understand what time it is in the battlefield. Oh, yeah. That's right. You know what I'm saying? The Lord letting you know what time it is in the battlefield. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Here we go. Elder Malcolm Abba gonna break it down to you that you been lying, Esau. As always, that's all you do is lie. Oh, yeah.
Shalom. Call hello, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, the would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, ordained to be the ruling class government, the ruling class people over all the nations, all the races. Here on earth, the kingdom of heaven will be set up on earth as it is in heaven, by who the world falsely and fraudulently calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. Always was, always will be. And he's coming back to set up his people, the Israelites, primarily made up of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And of course, the rest of those that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations, which is the reason for the Lord's return.
That's right.
To gather up that which was lost, the scattered, that are still scattered, and establish the kingdom of Israel. For the one that is in place is a fraud, and the world knows it, but most people are too afraid to speak up because they rule and control everything.
Yep.
All right? And once again, to the rest of those scattered elect that are scattered, and to the few sisters that are listening and learning the Akwath, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another quick lesson in truth. And this was the Homestead's Journey video. So first let's read the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, so we're just gonna let a few minutes of her video play and see the position that people, because I keep saying that people that look like they're doing well, they're not. They're faking a funk.
That's right.
All right. You know, it's like that duck on the water that's gliding along smoothly. It's smoothly gliding along on the top of the water, you look at it, but if you were to look under the water at its feet, that duck is hustling. Them legs is flying. And that's it. And so people are struggling just so they can look like they're okay in their Cadillac, in their Porsche, in their G-Wagon. All right? Riding by, listening to their music loud, faking the funk. Yeah, when that a rap track from the late 90s, faking the funk, early 2000s, something like that. And that's exactly what these people are doing. They're faking the funk. Yeah, I think that was the late 90s. All right. Which was the best decade for rap music. But anyway, here we go.
And be happy. The price of homes will be so expensive that you can't afford a home. And this is where you will end up at. A true 15-minute city.
So what they're showing you is a construction site. And if you're looking in the background, you're seeing all 15 cities with the very small apartments. All right? When they're making the streets very small, there will be very few cars, mostly electric bikes and vehicles, which also can be tracked.
With thousands of people on top of each other.
I'm gonna say this one time only. If I catch you vandalizing a flop camera, I'm suddenly gonna catch amnesia and go blind. Because I didn't see shit, I don't know nothing.
Yo, I mean, so for real, are y'all not terrified of the way that the world is going? Like, I'm being actually so for real.
I feel like everybody is having a hard time right now, like even the stable people. I personally am having like an identity existential crisis, but even my stable friends are like shutting down their Instagrams, like closing down their Facebooks, even if it's just for a month. I know stable people who are like losing their minds at night. Finances, government, data centers, AI.
And she looks kind of young, but it's a whole lot of wrinkles around the lines, man. Look, and we know, the snow, they hot for a minute. That's the thing. They shelf life is not that great for them. And one of them that looks really good when they're older, they're probably not really, they one of them scattered, or there's some other race. But this one looks and sounds pretty young, but her face is showing wear and tear, man. These people are stressing out.
Like the future, I think we're actually all collectively freaking out. Am I alone with that?
Okay, you guys, I just got a Camry XSE, and it's the Premium Plus, and I'm over the screen telling me what to do, okay? It keeps telling me to sit up. It can't see my face. I'm like, what? I'm sitting here. It keeps telling me to pay attention. I'm paying attention. Like, what is going on? Stop telling me what to do. How do I turn this off? Please. It's driving me nuts.
Some from food-grade lubricants to LED lighting, and every product in between.
I passed 8 flock cameras on the way to my kid's school. 3 gas stations, 2 stoplights, but 8 flock cameras.
Yeah, so the thing is that they're really trying to get this surveillance in place because they know that the insurrection is coming. They know that people are to a boiling point where they're ready to crack. So they're trying to get a jump of control on everything so that they can oppress you, so they can track you, trace you, and deal with you accordingly. Right? And one way to get people, to act right is to you take away their food, you take away their ability to feed themselves and feed their family. They'll pretty much submit to you. And this is what they're trying to do. All right? And the scriptures say that they're actually going to achieve this goal. Problem is at the moment they achieve it, all hell's going to break loose. The Lord is going to intervene, and it's going to take heavenly intervention. So, and one of the ways they're going to do it too is with the famine. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 18. It says the beginning of sorrows and great. I read this yesterday. It says the 2 Ezra 16:18, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning is the beginning of famine and great death, beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. And what shall I do when these evils come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish, are sent as scourges for amendment. All right. And so, a part of this is also going to, and when all these things are happening, they're doing this so that they can establish and try to legitimate, make it so bad to where people are not going to complain about the flock cameras, but they're going to embrace them because that's going to be a lesser evil, you know, it's the way that they like to use that definition, use that terminology. Because they would rather be, you know, well, I know I'm being surveyed and I'm being controlled, but at least I'm alive. At least I'm not getting cannibalized, because it's going to get so bad that people are going to revert to cannibalism. People are going to start eating their own beast or their neighbor's beast. They may not eat their own, but they definitely will eat yours. All right? It's going to get really, really bad out here. Okay? And meanwhile, while all that is happening, it's leading up to war. It says, but for all these, they shall not turn from their wickedness. No, they're not. Because instead of submitting to the Lord, and what we're talking about the Israelites here, some of them going to rebel even more. A lot of them going to blame it on us. Why'd you have to tell us the truth? It's your fault. Okay? It says, for these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of scourges. Behold, the victual shall be sold good, cheap upon the earth. They shall think themselves to be in good case, the ones that are doing well. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many shall dwell on earth, and shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So you're going to escape the famine only to be destroyed by the sword.
That's right.
Because the Lord is preserving some of you for the sword.
That's right.
And being that be the glittering swords that fly from one end of the earth and melt the elements, those swords, because that's where America's headed, because they're running out of weaponry, out of conventional arms. All right? And yeah, but we'll get to that part. But it's going to be dead people everywhere. It's 2 Corinthians 16:23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So it's just like I said yesterday, I believe, that, you know, there's going to be no garbage pickup. Okay, so we seen those images in New York when there was no garbage pickup just for a couple weeks. How the garbage piled up on the streets and stuff, because, you know, New York, being one of the largest cities in the world, they don't have alleys. And if that would even change anything anyway, you just wouldn't see it when you're walking down the street. It'd be in your alley, so that you still have the same problems though. But it's even worse when it's right out, you walk out your front door and it's, you know, and it's garbage piled, you know, 6 foot high. And nothing but rats and roaches and all manner of diseases. So what happens when their people start dropping like flies and there's no structure, no city structure? You know, they surrounded by all that concrete. So what are you going to do? Start trying to take your bodies to the parks and bury them in the parks? It's going to get really, really bad, man. You know, it's going to be a time worse than any time that has ever been before, just like the scripture says. Meanwhile, you got this going on. This is from the Young Turks.
NBC News is reporting the Pentagon is actually rationing some defense weaponry amid diminishing supplies. Is America backing away from a larger military attack because its military stockpile has been depleted?
I want to be crystal clear. The U.S. military, and I've verified this every which way, has everything that it needs to conduct this campaign.
The most dangerous people on the face of this earth that are never to be believed, are never to be trusted, are pale males, all right? You can clearly see his shirt is white, he's not white, all right? They lie about everything. His shirt is white, he is not white. He is not a white man. He is red, just like the Bible speaks of. I just saw an image where they were showing some ancient Egyptians, and said, why are we ignoring this? All dark brown, ruddy red, dark brown, you know, maroon, and trying to call them red. You know, They're ruddy. That's what ruddy is. That dark brown skin with those brown hues in it, like most Negroes. And these were Hebrew slaves, by the way, in Egypt. All right, the ones that were building and being forced to build. This man is pale red. He is not white. His shirt is white. He is not white. His shirt is white. They lied. That is a false social construct that they made up in 1681. Well, they actually made it up before then, but they implemented it into law in 1681 in Virginia. All right? Because they started using that term, white man, in the early 1600s. But by 1681, they actually put it to paper, put it to law. They create mischief by law. But this man is lying. And the most dangerous people in the world that are not to be trusted. You think white women teach their children, if you get in trouble, you find the biggest black guy you can find and go to him. And because a big black guy knows that he's gonna bring up that white child to the authorities so fast. With this guy, he gonna have his way with that child and then traffic that child, more likely than not.
As effectively as it needs to be. And I have to just tell you, the people that are leaking this nonsense deserve to be in jail.
Well, that was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, and he's a liar.
Yeah, right. His name was Waltz, so yeah. And he's a liar. Okay? This is Job 13:4. And it reads, "But ye are forgers of lies, you're all physicians of no value." Because he just stood up there and told the news and told the whole world that they have everything that they need for this illegal campaign, which is being done in the name of Waltz's people, not America. Psalms 58:3. "The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies." Never trust a man. You see another fat-faced, pale male. He's pale orange. He's in the class all by himself. But everybody else pale red. This dude pale orange. But as you can see, I love it when they wear white. All right? Because it shows you that they're not white. The same way when you put a black shirt on someone who's so-called black, you can see that their skin is brown and they're not actually black at all. That these people have formated lies and this psyop in people's heads so strongly that they see brown and call it black, and they see pale red, peach flesh and call it white.
Massive liar, and that's putting it lightly. Because through his lies, he's putting our troops in danger. In fact, President Trump has now opted to take a pause in bombing Iran after 13 nights of pummeling the country. And it's not because Trump necessarily wants to end the war. It's because he had to. So let me make the case, as some in the audience want to justify Ukraine entering a war against Iran, which still has 70% of its ballistic missiles intact.
So you got to understand, now look, Zelensky didn't do this on his own. America needs Ukraine now. And why? Because she just told you, Ukraine has a lot of its small arms, which that America loaded them up with. All right? And the rest of the EU and NATO want no part of this war. But this will also, with Ukraine all of a sudden attacking Iran long distance, and Iran retaliates in and over Europe, well, as you can see, this is the Lord playing chess. They think that they're doing this. This is the Lord doing this. Activating Joel, the 3rd chapter. He's drawing all the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat to finally, deal with them and for the controversy of Zion. All right? The Lord's he's gonna show the world that the Hebrew Israelites have been telling you the truth. These Amalekites, Israelis, all right, the true Edomites, Amalek, that's what they are for the most part. Amalek and other Edomites that converted are the people in the Holy Land, claiming to be the people of the Lord, all right, while wreaking havoc on the whole world. Something that the Israelites would not do while disobeying the Lord's laws. Our alphabet activities and all manner of child sacrifice and weird stuff. And when you point it out, the first thing they scream is, anti-Sem. They start screaming, playing the anti-semantics games to distract from what they're actually doing. This is what they do.
Ballistic missiles, which Ukraine doesn't have the capacity to shoot down. Anyway, top advisors and senior members of the administration met with Trump last week on Friday to basically discuss the fact that we're in a lot of trouble. The United States military is in a lot of trouble in this war against Iran because the Pentagon has depleted its stock of Patriot interceptors and other air defenses. So this has been a problem since the beginning of the war against Iran. This is not new information. It's just shocking to me that 5 months after Trump started this war, we finally have members of his administration bringing up the fact that we have depleted our missile interceptors. The New York Times reported that 3 U.S. soldiers in Jordan were killed last Friday when a ballistic missile slipped through American air defenses, fending off a barrage of Iranian missiles and drones, a senior U.S. official said. In fact, the Iran war casualty count has increased to over 600 U.S. service members.
And look, it's much higher than that. If they're admitting 600, you can probably times that by 3. All right, you can do. It's definitely more because that 600 was lost in just 13 days. And how long has this thing been going on? So they've been hiding, and these once again, they're liars. And eventually, I don't know what made them think they would be able to hide that forever. When the foreign media and anti-war medias are collecting up this information and giving you the proof and the receipts. Okay? If they admit, matter of fact, this is going to be the title of this. If they admit 600, there are many more. Operation Epstein failure. Not Epstein Fury, but Operation Epstein failure. Because that's what this all comes down to. Trump entered into this war because he was pressured into it because they were waving at the exposure of those files and all his deviant sexual acts with minors and having SAing women against their will.
So the Pentagon updated its war casualty database just this past weekend on Saturday, recording more than 140 service members who had been wounded in addition to the numbers we previously had. So the number we previously had was 482. When the new Pentagon data is combined with updated totals for Operation Epic Fury, 18 troops have died and another 624 have been wounded since the U.S. launched its war against Iran on February 28th. How many IDF soldiers were killed in this war against Iran, which started on February 28th? Since, this is a war Israel wanted, and this is a war that the U.S. has entered on Israel's behalf. Let me look at my notes.
So once again, Americans are dying for Israelis who laughed and scoffed about Isabella Gomez's sacrifice for them. You just go into them. And your leaders are allowing them to use you. And they're going to send your armies far off. And guess what? They're going to bring their armies over here. That's why they combine it. And more than likely, it's going to be them that are enforcing these draconian measures upon the people when these riots and things. So the troops that you're going to be fighting, that America's going to be fighting when the shit hits the fan in the streets of America, when civil unrest engulfs America, which they're preparing for. The majority of them are going to be IDF, and IDF, they're very boastful in their destruction against non-combatant, people. they're very effective at destroying civilians, and they brag and boast about it. And they use drones and night visions and all kind of wicked tactics against people who are not military at all, and women and children and old people. All right, they're not known for going head to head with male military forces that equal them in firepower, etc. They're not known for that. Okay, this is Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Jumping down to verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he is not able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. The world can see that America has been, and from the president down in every office, has been compromised. America is completely compromised. And the world can see that and the world knows that these people in the land of Israel are not, like Jerry Springer, you are not the people of the Lord. Call Allah, Yahweh Basham Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Badash Kwam Yasharallah, Abad Babal.